building, new settlements. A tremendous spirit of achievement and progress dominates the whole country.
The whole of Jewish history is an eternal celebration of resilience. This quality has rarely come to finer expression than in the manner in which Israel now created its own opportunities. We inherited an economy almost exclusively dependent on agriculture. It was imperative to exploit such natural resources as we had and to build an industrial base. We needed manufacturing plants. Above all, we needed irrigation, and so much effort and ingenuity was spent in utilizing our meager supply of water. A pipeline to the Negev caused the desert to bloom. Israel even entered the textile and automobile industries. In December 1949, the United Nations decided, though without much conviction, that it would try to establish an international authority over Jerusalem. Having turned its back on Jerusalem when the city faced famine and destruction in 1948, the United Nations belatedly claimed jurisdiction. The only effect was to bring about a resolute Israeli reaction. Ben-Gurion moved the Knesset from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, where it took an oath never to leave that city again. The central problem in the relations between Israel and the Arab world has been the persistent attempt of Arab governments to deny our legitimacy as a state. We had nourished the hope that Arab-Jewish coexistence would find its first expression in a settlement with Jordan. There was nothing of the inhuman virulence which marked the attitude of the other Arab nations toward Israel's existence. The embodiment of this hope was, of course, King Abdullah. Abdullah's ambitions had attracted the enmity of his fellow Arabs, especially the Egyptians.
King Abdullah, who was 69, was shot as he was going to pray at a mosque close to that famous shrine, the Mosque of Omar.
In Egypt, the corrupt and profligate government of King Farouk was overthrown by a military coup. A bloodless revolution brought Colonel Gamal Abdel Nasser into power. King Farouk sailed to Italy for a few more years of a good life.
It is my earnest conviction that peace can and will be achieved in Palestine at an early date.
All attempts to reach a lasting peace with the Arabs failed. They organized a boycott of Israeli goods and markets and put pressure on their own trading partners to withdraw their recognition of Israel. We had evidence that their military staffs were preparing for the next war. I felt that we must create a bipartisan American-Israeli tradition. I arranged an early meeting between Foreign Minister Moshe Sharet and President Eisenhower in Washington. The change in the leadership of the United States was a watershed for Israel. In May 1952, I spoke at a dinner honoring President Truman. I said, "We do not have orders or decorations. Our material strength is small and greatly strained. We have no tradition of formality or chivalry. One thing, however, is within the power of Israel to confer. It is the gift of immortality. Those whose names are bound up with Israel's history never become forgotten. We are therefore now writing the name of President Truman on the map of our country."
I'm very touched and grateful, and a little bit overwhelmed. They have a village name for me, but when they're talking about a statue, want me to join George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, and Cham Weitzman, I have about to come to the conclusion that I'm not ready yet to go into a piece of marble.
For the first 5 years, from 1948 to 1952, nothing had seemed to go wrong. Then there followed 3 nightmare years in which almost nothing seemed to go right. In November 1952, the first president, Chaim Weizmann, died.
To the town of Rehovot, Israel, came the mourners, Arabs as well as Jews. 250,000 to pass the catafalque on which the body of Chaim Weizmann lay in state.
Without Truman and Weizmann, the scene was unfamiliar. More unexpectedly, Ben-Gurion resigned in 1953. Ben-Gurion was a buoyant, vigorous, pugnacious, defiant man who sent out sparks of energy in all directions. For over 2 decades, he had carried heavy burdens. When Ben-Gurion resigned the premiership, he made it clear that he was leaving office, but he was not leaving power. Nothing in him was exactly what it seemed. Israel would face a different future with new figures in the center of the drama.